the session is about today is my focus and intention. I mentioned it a little bit on Tuesday, is that we are kind of almost, I'm really conscious of, as we know, around energy and things like that, but it's really becoming next level of understanding that everything has a consciousness to some degree. And so, as we know, trees and nature, we can feel the consciousness of that, right? And through that consciousness, we can communicate and connect with a tree, right? And we're quite comfortable with that, us anyway. And more people are understanding that, oh, hang on, trees have a consciousness, and plants and house plants, and there's scientific evidence and showing that when a person walks into the room, because it's so subtle, we don't often see it, but the house plant actually responds to your presence. So there's a relationship between you and the plants, and you and the trees, and you and the environment. And we have a relationship with what we think are inanimate objects, like, for example, our house. You can feel the frequency and the resonance of your home. And we know that, like, as we live there, like, say, Ayurveda, the land itself and the buildings have been only ever associated with holistic work, meditation, spiritual stuff, training, blah, blah, blah. So the frequency, the resonance, if we could see things just as energy, we could see the color and the vibration of Ayurveda. It would be a frequency of all that spirituality, all that work that's happened there, the beautiful energy that's there. And we can feel it, right? When we are walking into places like that, we go, oh, it's so beautiful. And so the same with our house. Like, this room is changing. I can feel the frequency of it because all I ever do here is really beautiful work, right? And I've got amazing things, and I burn beautiful incense, and I do rituals in this room, and I teach classes, and people have big shifts. So the energy is becoming more and more high frequency. But we also know that if a house has been abandoned, it just deteriorates, it falls apart because there's no life in it. It's neglected, it's being abandoned, literally. And so they always say, like, you need to live in a house. Even if you don't do any maintenance on it, a house will survive and live and be better because your energy is in it. You're bringing life into it. So we kind of get our head around that level of interaction and consciousness being in things. So, like with the house, that speaks to the fact that there is a level of consciousness within the building. And we can have a relationship with our car, right? You start to, drive your car more often, and you build a relationship. You start to feel the energy of it. You might even give it a name. You might say, is it a boy or is it a girl? And you might go, oh, we've been on all these journeys together, and you talk to it and go, come on, and you're like having a relationship with your car. And there's a consciousness to it. We think it's just metal, but there's a consciousness to it because of the fact that you're interacting with it. So those are tangible things. However, there is a consciousness in everything. And so when we set an intention for the day, so we wake up in the morning and we go, I'm going to set an intention for my day, or my day is going to be like this, or I'd like to feel this. We can actually connect with the energy of the day. And when you take it even further, there is actually there is like resonance. Like, we know that there is a resonance to emotions, there is a frequency to emotions, right? We know the emotional scale. So we know that, like, depression is like 20 hertz per minute, but we know that, like, when we get to courage, it's like 200 hertz per minute. And when we get to love, it's like 400 plus hertz per minute. So there is a frequency of vibration to an emotion. But that's less tangible than a car or a building. It's an emotion, right? An emotion has a resonance, a frequency that we can measure, and we can match that frequency so that we are a match to anger or joy or courage. So if I bring my vibrational resonance to 200 hertz per minute, then I'm activating my courage. I'm able to access courage frequencies. So there is also like, and that's been measured, and I must actually be more. My goal this year is to not do more, but do what I'm doing better. And so what I'm trying to do is refine. Like I have all this knowledge, but the way that I explain it is sometimes vague, and I know where the knowledge is. But it would help right now if I told you the person who's done the research on this. You know what I mean? So just a little bit more background, or a little bit more thorough knowledge sharing. So anyway, there is also research and resonance, and this I find really fascinating, that every day has a different frequency. So a Monday is a hertz of X amount, and that's not the complete one I know yet. So say Monday is a hertz of this, and it's the color of this. Tuesday is the hertz of this, and say the color yellow. And there is a frequency and an energy, and every day is different. So when we wake up in the morning and we set a bit of an intention, it's not so much about it. It's not so much about imposing what we want that day to be like, right? That's kind of the 3D way of doing things. Right, today I'm going to do this, and I'm going to make this happen, and I'm going to set an intention that I'm calling in this, and I want this to happen. And that is powerful, and we are powerful enough to do that. However, I'm sure that you've also had experiences where you've set this intention, and today I'm calling in more clients, or today I'm calling in high energy for myself to do these things. And then it doesn't work out that way. So sometimes we are not in alignment with the frequency of the day, or with the frequency of, so say, or even the month, or even the, where we are, what cycle we're in. So if we kind of have more of an understanding, and we can obviously do a lot of research, and we can have a graph on our wall and find out, okay, Monday is an energy of the moon, and it's a good intention setting day. So Monday is a good intention setting day. And so then we're like, okay, Tuesday is more dynamic, or, Wednesday, whatever it is. And I'll look it up, and I've got it somewhere. So I'll look it up so we can at least know that. However, what I'm wanting this session to kind of, and set an intention for this year, is that rather than only, and it is nice to know, okay, this is the graph, Mondays is this energy, so Monday it's good to set some intention, Wednesday it's good to do something and take action, to be proactive. Say Thursday is a good day to not take action, so to be in surrender, for example. So that's good to know, so that we can plan it. However, if we refine that even more, and then we actually ask and find out, so when we do set an intention in the morning, rather than just only checking in our own fluctuations, like, oh, I'm tired today, or oh, I'm motivated today, if we can align with the external, or the environment, or the energy of that day. So when we wake up in the morning, what does this day want from me? And I can also have my intention, okay, today I really want to make these sales, or today I really want this. However, when we align that with the frequency of the day, then we get some guidance. We get a little bit of co-creation. We can go, okay, if I want to make these sales, or if I want to achieve this goal today, what is the energy of the day that's going to support that outcome? So is it action taking, or is it surrender? Is it planning, or is it taking my hands off it for today, but still having the focus on, I want it to come to me, or do I need to go and take action towards it? Does that make sense a little bit?
Yeah.
Yeah. So really it is about like listening in and feeling into the frequency of the day. And you can also bring that into the frequency of the year. And so what I really wanted to sort of feel into today, and that's the practice that I want to bring in today, is that what we would sometimes do, or often do at this time of year, and is say, make a graph or make a categories. Okay, physical health. Okay, financial, relationship, wealth. Those are generally the quarters, right? Or career, these different areas. And we would go, what are my goals for my health? What are my goals for my career? What are my goals for my wealth? Whatever. And what we're going to do is we're going to sort of turn that around a little bit. So that's still a worthwhile exercise. And we can do an exercise like that later. We're not going to do it like that in this workshop, because what we want to do today is do it the other way around. So we want to still focus on each of those categories, but we're going to channel. So we are going to receive, and we're going to tap into the frequency of this year of 2025. So we're going to tap into, what does this year want to bring in? What does my soul want me to experience in this year? What are the themes? What are the main themes? And can I get a bit of a feel for what frequency is more active at this part of the year? So say, for example, if we're going to be focusing and I'm tapping into my soul self and I'm tapping into the energy of 2025, like I was saying, a car has a consciousness and I'm building a relationship. The day has an energy and I'm building a relationship with that day. 2025, the year, has a consciousness. Let's tap into the consciousness of this year. There's a collective consciousness as well, and there's a timeline, there's a frequency to the reality of it. And we're going to tap into that. And then we're going to sort of tune in, fine tune, what is my experience of 2025 and what does 2025 want to bring through me? And then we're going to go into different categories. So we'll first do a bit of a channeling around maybe health. Okay, what does my health look like in 2025? What is the optimum? Because your consciousness, your soul is always going to try to bring you to the equilibrium. So it's not like we're sitting there doing a premonition of the future. We're not saying, oh, I've just all of a sudden got a vision that I'm going to break my leg. It's not like that. It's more about like the consciousness is going to always go, like, say there is a theme for your health, and if we're channeling that theme, the download, the information, what I might be receiving is, oh, I'm being really shown that my diet, I need to take it more seriously. I need to, I'm really seeing that is being shown to me, that's where I need to put my focus. Or if I'm looking at my wealth and I'm channeling it, I'm receiving. It's not like I'm putting it out to the universe saying, I want $1 million. I'm receiving, and so what I might get is I might get a download that the universe is saying, okay, you've got to take more action, you've got to be more proactive. Or the universe might say to me, like what has come through for me is go back to basics for a little bit. And so that is the big financial download I've received so far. And we might do that with career, we might do that with relationship. We receive and we listen to what the theme is or what some of the key points. This literally is channeling. And if you ever listen to people like Lee Harris and people like that, they do an energy update every month on YouTube. We're doing this for ourselves right now. I think a really important thing to remember is just to hold it lightly and not overanalyze. Why am I doing this? And what does this mean? Does this mean now I should be an artist? Or does this mean, it's just like, maybe hold it lightly, like while you feel inspired to do something, follow that inspiration. I think that's the real key. And the only way that we can truly follow our inspiration as opposed to our head, and this is why I also feel this is so important way for us to set the intention and start the year, is that, as we know, there is like so many distractions, it's not even funny, like so many. And when we look at social media, there is so much distraction of, maybe I should be doing that for my business. Maybe I should market my business that way. Or maybe I should do those sort of reels. Or maybe I should show up like that online. Or when we like, even from the point that social media is showing us, oh wow, I really feel called to go to Bali, I can feel it. It must be my soul. And it's like, no, it's because you're following all those accounts of people in Bali, it's not your soul calling you, it's social media influencing you. And it's in yoga, it's called samskara, which is impressions. So we have samskaras all the time. Like right now, while I'm talking to you, as I pop my head up, I look outside and I see, like, there's a house over there, and on their deck they've got a blue chair, and I'm just noticing it. But I've been popping my head up and seeing it all the time, but I didn't notice it before. And so then all of a sudden, I'm like, don't notice why all of a sudden I'm interested in a blue chair, and I think, oh, maybe a blue chair would look nice there. And I think it's coming from divine inspiration, but it's coming from the fact that I saw that blue chair while I was talking to you guys, and I'm in an alpha state, so I'm in a really open state, and now this blue chair is imprinting in my consciousness. And so discernment and being really clear and refining our own channeling ability, our own guidance, is vital, 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 vital this year, more than any other time ever, because the distraction's going to get worse, and all the chaos is getting worse. It's going to get worse. There's so much stuff that's like being put out there, and with AI and everything, it's hard to know what's real. So the only thing we can really truly do is come back to what can only be real, is your own soul and your own soul alignment. And so the key is to learn to discern the difference between our human and our connection. And so this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do our 2025 channeling as opposed to intention setting, because if we made a goal of intention setting and I'm going, I want a blue chair, it's like, I think that I want a blue chair because it's so, or I'm going to Bali this year. I feel called. I can feel it. I'm going to Bali this year. And it's like, actually, once we discern down, it's like, no, I've just been seeing too many people in Bali on Instagram. So it's not me. It's not my path. Not that I don't want to go to Bali, but I've got to feel whether that's true for me, and whether that's the best for my soul journey. And that's why, like, like I've been putting effort in actually being here, and some of the things that I'm doing at the moment, I'm like, I'm following my soul and what's coming, and some of the things I don't want to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to go back to just doing massage and stuff and all the things that I'm doing. Like today, I'm helping out at somebody's 50th birthday. Somebody I don't even know, but my neighbor asked, and because I need money right now, I'm just saying yes to everything. And so I'm cleaning dishes at somebody's 50th birthday. And there's a little part of me that goes, oh my God, I'm too good for that. But another part of me goes, sort your shit out, get over yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to get some money. My soul said yes. And so I'm like, and I don't even know who I'm going to meet. And it might open up a whole lot of doors, like it might actually be an amazing networking opportunity. And even if it isn't, it's still going to bring in some money that's going to feed my dogs. So it's like that's the surrender of this year. And my word for this year is surrender. And so I just keep coming back to surrendering into what does this year want to express through you. Does that
Mm.
make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of my life is kind of led like that anyway. Like, I do feel there's a lot of things happening that I kind of have no control of.
Mm.
I'm not control. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, you're just allowing, and they may not necessarily be the choices you would have made, but you're seeing that it is a choice that is being made.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a difference to like irresponsibility or not making choices because you're standing still. It's not about like giving up. It's not like throwing in the towel and just seeing what happens. It's not that. There's a real conscious experience. It's an internal following the inspiration to go in a certain direction with a trust that it's the right thing.
Yeah, it really feels like there is that. I've had lots of dreams of um like pathways or roads or things that I'm on, and there's a diversion.
Like, you mean like a distraction diversion?
Oh, I don't know. Like it's whether I'm going to go on that road for a little bit or whether
Right. Yeah.
road or yeah, and there's been lots and lots and lots of that, and I feel like this year is kind of that whole thing that you're saying. I know there's something else opening up, and I don't know what it is.
And I think that's the thing, is that like this is where Hold It Lightly is still really relevant this year. Is like, okay, follow, like one of the biggest things that I've really am embracing is if I'm at a crossroads and I can choose that or that, and neither of them feel terrible, or neither of them feel great. It's like, yeah, I want to do that and I want to do that. Doesn't matter. It's like, which of those gives you just that little bit more excitement and go in that direction? And which of those makes you feel just a little bit more inspired? And just don't second guess it. The minute you know that you feel like that makes me feel just a little bit more inspired, then I'm going to do that. You know, there's more energy in it. Like, say, for example, like this dinner tonight, this dinner thing tonight. So I'm feeling a complete yes. However, if I now got offered to do a massage and it's probably the same money and it's only 1 hour and it's at home, you know, it's like I could say, oh, I'd rather do that. But actually, even feeling into it right now, that feels more dense than going to the dinner party. You know, so even though financially it makes more sense because I'm getting paid the same for hours less work and I don't have to leave the house. However, I'm following like, okay, I know, like my human, it doesn't make sense, but my energy says this is a good move. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
that's kind of all we can follow.
Yeah, no, absolutely resonating with everything you're saying. It's very, very cool. And I loved it when you're talking about, yeah, the plants. That's so much like my dream that I was telling you about the other day, you know, the energy that's in absolutely everything. I mean, that dream still hasn't left me. It was so bizarre and so cool.
Yeah,
And same with my car. I have this relationship with my car, you know.
oh,
It's
yeah.
very Shinto, you know, it's very, very Shinto.
But yeah, my car too. It's just like, oh my God, I got such a relationship with my car. And talking about dreams, at the end of this, I must tell you guys about my dream I had the other night. Like, you will get it. It wasn't a dream. It's like with yours, Kat. You know, when it's not a dream, it's an experience. You know, it's a multidimensional experience for sure. I had one the other day. It was like, holy crap, but it was awesome. So I'll share it with you later. So so do you get what I mean about my intention, like what the intention is of what we want to do with this practice? So you know how I do the energy retrieval at the end of the year, and we did the like going through all the segments and we're like withdrawing and we're writing down, oh yes, this is what happened and this is the theme, and at the end of the year we've got a theme of like what that was. And we want that almost the same, but then the other way. We're just going to channel it the other way. Oh, well, we're in a massive ascension phase. And so that means every single one of us has got refining. And then luckily we do get little reprieves every now and then where we land at a plateau and go, oh, I made it. Look at me. I'm here. And then it goes, okay, let's go. We're like, we're off again. It's almost like a big, what do you call it? Not an exodus, but what are those journeys, you know, like pilgrimage, pilgrimage. Like we're on a big pilgrimage, you know, and we're learning. And then every now and then we can stop and look at the sunset and go, ah. And then we go to sleep and we wake up and go, okay, we're off. So, yeah, well, let's see what some of the themes are that want to come through for this year. So if you've got pen and paper, that would be awesome, because we'll do a bit of a I also feel very much that this year is about not getting ahead of yourself and not setting in stone what might be. I feel like we're in such fluctuation and change and upheaval. And if we were a clairvoyant channeler that's going to give a prediction for the year, or even like for a month, the predictions that we can channel can only be a potential prediction, because it's only potential if this timeline continues to be as it is now. But as things change, like say, for example, if there is like a prediction, I can feel like, say, in the next few weeks, I can feel that there is going to be some stability, and I can feel that there is going to be some cohesion in humanity or in our own lives. However, that feels like it's only 2 weeks long. And then after that, then I can go, okay, what am I feeling? I feel like, say, if I'm feeling into February, I'm like, it feels expansive. It feels quite flourishing. It feels like a wheat grass, like sort of, field that's ready for harvest, and it feels like this. However, and it does feel like that. However, in the next 2-3 weeks, if something else happens and we as a consciousness and predominantly we respond to the thing happening, it means that we've moved to a different timeline. So if we stay on this timeline, we can feel into the prediction of this timeline. But if anywhere along the line we shift timelines, then the prediction must change. Does that make sense? So for ourselves as well, the main thing we want to channel right now is, say, the next 3 months, because that's the closest we can trust that we probably will be pretty clear on that. And then we might get a theme or a feeling for the year, but we're not going to dissect the whole year. This is something you could do again in 3 months' time for the next quarter. Make sense? Okay. All right. So we're going to actually go like into a meditative type of state. And we will, just going to use a bit of, I know which one I'll use. And we'll use some music for this. No, hang on, in the wrong place, sorry. So we want a piece of paper and we want a pen, obviously, and we want to sit comfortably. The little things that make us happy, isn't it? Is these pens. I think you may have had them before. Oh, right, that's your favorite pen, yes. These pens are from Kmart, and they're the best pens. They're like, it's so nice. And it just like makes all the difference. So it's all these little things. Like, that's about being conscious and being aware that like these things actually make a difference. All right. So as we come to closing the eyes for a moment, we will just focus on right now. And notice that, like, the right now moment where we are and what we are experiencing in this moment, this timeline. Everything is a timeline. And our current timeline has brought us to resonate in this spot where we are right now. So let's tap into for a moment the energy of this moment. You might even want to work a little bit with themes and words. So if right now in this moment you had to name an emotion what would it be in this moment? Just feel into that. And remember, energy in motion. And remember also what we spoke about earlier, that every emotion has a frequency associated to it. So when we identify the emotion, whatever it is, if it's frustration, if it's anger, if it's joy, if it's hopefulness, whatever it is, that means, that gives us an indication of what is our frequency right now. Where are we resonating? So take a moment, really tap in, tune in to your emotional frequency right now. And also tap into the frequency of the day. So reminding yourself that every day has a different frequency as well. Like I said, Monday is different to Tuesday, the energy of it, the resonance of it. So feel into this day now. You may want to gauge it with a color, give it a color. You may want to gauge it with a word, or you may even want to imagine a frequency, a resonance, a hertz. Or there may be a different way for you to acknowledge that there is a particular frequency to this day. And then take your focus to the month of January. Just take your awareness to the overall frequency of January. And January here in this country, that frequency would be different if we were living in a different country. The frequency of January in this country, what does it feel like to you right now? We don't have to base that on past experience right now. And then tap into 2025 and tap into January of 2025. The frequency of January in 24 would have felt different. What does January of 25 feel like? And is there like a word or a theme that you can sense? And as you tap into January of 2025, tapping into the frequency, the collective frequency of obviously here in this country, and also the frequency of the theme of this year. Now see if you can tune into January 25 for you personally. What is alive for you personally? What are you receiving for you personally? What is coming through? What is your soul intention for January of 25 for you personally? Now, while you stay in this alpha state and in this open state of receiving, if there are some things that you want to bring through on pen and paper now, you might want to write just a few key words or something that comes through. What does January feel like? What does the day feel like? What does January 25 feel like? What does January 25 feel like for you personally? So take a few moments if you feel called to just write down a few words, maybe images, maybe some keywords. And as anything comes through, don't second guess it. If a word pops up, if you're noticing a word coming up, if you're noticing a thought coming up, a sentence, an image, a color, whatever it is, just see if you can keep your thinking mind out of it. Just write it down. Write down the color yellow, write down the word, whatever it is, just write it down. Don't try not to second guess it, just allow. When you're ready, when you feel like you have received, take your awareness and just allow yourself to slowly transition into February. And so just open up and feel into February of 25. Just have an awareness of in the infinite timeline of everything, to sense into it. And so you may just, first of all, just receive an overall. What does February in general feel like to you? What does February in general feel like in this country? So take a few moments there. And then allow that to become a little bit more personal. What does February of 25 feel like for you? What does it look like? And you may even want to imagine that you are at the end of February and you look back and go, oh, okay, that's what that theme was. Do you feel a theme there? continue to just allow the energy to infuse in you. Try not to look for anything. Doesn't matter if nothing's really coming to you. Just open up your energy, open up your focus, open up your field, and just hold the intention of asking. Hold the intention of being willing to hear, to see. We all have the clairs. We all have some sort of clairaudience or claircognitive, clairsentient, whatever it is. So you may just receive all of a sudden some smells. So write those down. What are you smelling? Maybe you're seeing visions. So write them down. Maybe there is a knowing. There's like this internal knowing that you know something. Write that down. Maybe you're actually hearing a word or a song or anything. Just whatever it is, just use your clairs and tap in to whatever it is you're receiving, the guidance that you're receiving. And we'll stretch it out a little bit further and move your awareness into March of 25. And obviously timelines are always changing, always, depending on the collective, depending on your own decision making along the way. There's always change happening in the timeline. So the current timeline, receive what March feels like. And again, you may want to start by feeling into the overall feeling of March in this country. Then you might want to feel into the feeling of March in your own personal receiving. March of 25 in general? What is the global, the collective theme? And then March of 25 for you personally, what is your soul's intention? What is your soul's guidance at this point? Take a few moments to write down anything that arises, it shows up, some key words. And now we are going to stay with the eyes closed, and we are going to trust. We're going to trust the rest of the journey. We're going to trust that we can go through this process again, and we can tune in once again for the remainder of the year. We can do that again in 3 months' time and tap in. So for now, as you're sitting here with your eyes closed, take your focus to your heart space and maybe bring your hand or hands across the center of your chest. And whatever has come through so far, maybe there are challenges ahead, maybe there's some squeezes coming up, hold it lightly. And just remember that you are a soul and you've chosen this incarnation, and this journey is not pushed upon you. This is not something that you have been afflicted with. Sometimes when we're here on earth, we're like, oh my God, get me out of here. But you chose it and you are capable of it. And this experience is powerful. It is all for you. It is all an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity for learning and wisdom. And particularly those of us who have been very consciously on this path and living from soul, knowing that there is an intention here. Your trials and tribulations are all to gain growth and wisdom. And that your growth and wisdom is here to support others in this time of shifting. And whether that support is with the person you're living with the friends you meet on the street, or whether it's in a professional capacity, whether there are hundreds of people that are following your guidance and teachings, or whether there is one. It is all why you have learned what you've needed to learn, and why you're here to share what you're capable of sharing. And so setting an intention for this year to allow soul to communicate with you what the intention is of 2025. So having had a little tap in so far and a tune in so far to the direction, the theme that's building, for the next few moments, allow yourself to elevate your frequency, coming to at least a frequency of gratitude and appreciation, and feel your elevation. Feel every cell in your body, your abdomen, every cell in your body, your heart, your throat, that third eye, the crown. Just elevate, expand and feel. And just know that as you raise your frequency, you have access to different things. You change the timeline. So right now, tapping into where are you at, and receive, open up, surrender, breathe. Today in this powerful portal of 11-1, so 1-1-1, that unity, that oneness, the power of 3, the power of 1. the triad, and so really tuning in, tapping into this portal, dissolving your humanness to the point of integration with your soul. There's no separation anymore between the human and the soul. You are living in a soul-aligned awareness. Trust, surrender, and set an intention that you will keep coming back to this surrender. And whenever you feel like you're swimming upstream, and whenever you feel like you've taken the steering wheel again and you're trying to direct where it's going, just hold it lightly, take your hands off the wheel, and just once again receive. Breathe, feel, trust, and know. Feel that smile, that internal smile of knowing, of alignment, of trust. Knowing that all good things, even if they sometimes don't feel that good, knowing that all good things are here for you. Even some of those redirects, even sometimes when it feels squishy, squeezy, challenging, just understand and trust. Keep stepping forward. Keep bringing in your awareness to your internal state. Raise your frequency. Allow, breathe. And the main intention for this year is to trust your own channel, to cultivate your own channel more and more, whether that is clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, claircognitive. We all have the ability. By tapping into those gifts, those clairs, we can guide ourselves effortlessly, tapping into the frequency of the day, tapping into the frequency of whatever job you're taking on, tapping into the frequency of money, tapping into the frequency of your relationship, the friendships, tapping into the frequency of well-being, really allowing the full expression and the amazing power of your humanness, soul-aligned human. Taking a deep breath in here. And open your eyes, and just for a moment, if there is any other download, any other epiphany, any other motivational words that came through for yourself, just writing them down, some inspiration. So just before we finish, I'm not going to share, we don't need to share what each month had for us. But what might be nice is to share if there was just a theme and like some overall. So for me at the end there, I had lots of stay connected, trust, develop more clears, be a light leader, show up. Who cares came through. Who cares what anybody else thinks? Nothing to lose. Be seen. Be weird. You're free now. The spell is broken. Shine. Finally, it's your time now or not to do it. Be free to be. You're free to be. So those are what that came through for me for the overall theme. Any of you want to share your overall with me? You don't have to, obviously.
I had lots of water, like floating. I don't know what that's all about.
Which is fine. You don't need to know. I'm sure you'll find out.
Like showing me strength. There was stuff about strength and lots of grounding kind of things, or connections, or staying connected, or yeah.
Amazing.
And the water was often I'm right under the very surface of the water. Which feels like, something's just right there. And climbing like ropes, like rope climbing, weird in the middle of space. rope on a rope, and showing me that I doubt my own strength, kind of thing.
Yeah. Powerful. That's amazing. And interesting water that you say water, because water is very much the theme for this year, the power of water, the knowledge of water. So funny. Look, I just pulled this card literally just while we were talking.
Water your garden. Oh.
Isn't that interesting that I literally just pulled that? And there's a few other cards which I'll show in a second. That's interesting too. What about you, Belinda? Did you get a theme? Did you get any sort of, and you're muted.
Just like look outside the box. You have everything you need. You have the canvas. Just you live in joy is actually something I started end of last year, and it was like a real game changer. Like, yeah, joy. Joy.
Yeah. That's really perfect for allowing, isn't it? Joy, just allowing joy to guide you. That's beautiful. Perfect. What about, well, this was quite nice too, because this is like, we are Hathor's deep love, mother's milk, birth as a portal. That's very good too. What about you, Kat? Did you get anything there?
Yeah, I got a bit, but it's weird. I go like completely unconscious through bits. It was really weird because I felt like I was fighting it. But it was interesting just seeing the development between January, February, March. January was this real creative spark. It was like it was really interesting because that, I think, flowed on from Saturday when you did the whole Saturday thing. It was this big black block, and it was like a resistance line. And then going into January, it was popping out above that block, and it was a sunrise, and there was the horizon there, and I can't read my writing. Oh, a feeling of expansion and the ether, and oh my goodness, green trees. That was really, really thing. But then February was, there was this heat from the creative spark. It was just like, it was really intense, but it was coming down and being grounded after the creativity is where February sort of landed. It was really interesting.
Beautiful.
It's a really, really important white square frame. And it's like, yeah, okay. I don't know
Yeah,
what
well,
that
that's right.
was.
Exactly. It's right, and it's something. It's a lot of it is metaphorical, and our subconscious and that communicates through imagery. So our conscious mind might not know what it represents, but your subconscious and your soul does.
It was weird. I woke up this morning. I do what I do at night and gone, said when I wake up, make sure I know what the really, really important thing is that I need to know today. And so the first thing I woke up to was layaway box, which I have no idea what a layaway box is. None whatsoever. So I wrote it down and in my journal and said, what does that mean? What is a layaway box? And the next thing that came out was coffin. I was like, oh, don't know, but it was a bit weird. But,
Interesting. Oh, well, and then again, that white box. So we'll see what all of that represents. It might all be metaphorical as well.
Yeah,
I'll share with you
interesting.
guys the dream I had the other night. I woke up at 2:00 in the morning. It was not a dream. It was something. It was an experience. I wrote it down at 2 in the morning because I was like, oh my God. So I was in a elevator, but the elevator wasn't in a building. It was like in a pod, like floating through space. And it was kind of plummeting through space, and it was almost like a plane crashing. And there was like quite a few people in the elevator with me, but all those people were me. They were different me's in different timelines. And I knew they were all me, and I wasn't looking at them or paying attention going, oh, look, it's me. I wasn't paying any attention, but I knew they were all me. And some of the me's were panicking and freaking out. And some of the other ones were real composed. And, there was different energies in all of them, even though I was separate to all the me's, but I could sense that all the me's in there still felt like me, but I knew that I was perceiving them from this me. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so that was, and then there was this man, like almost like, how in an elevator sometimes there's a person that's steering the elevator, but he was really tall, and he was like about a 30-something-year-old man in a blue suit, nice suit, but it was Mercury, the planet. And he was actually my guide. And so he was like really had so much love, and he was calm and composed, and he didn't speak at all, but he communicated a lot. And he was like also, and I could feel that everybody in the falling pod elevator thingy was anxious. Even Mercury had a stress response, but he was calm because he knew that, we and so did I knew that this was like, it's like
that it was going to pass.
Yeah, like say if you're driving through a storm, and that you just got to keep going, and so you don't freak out, but you're anxious because you're just like, okay, you're just focused on what needs to happen. Mm-hmm. And so that was the energy he had and the energy I had, but there was a couple of us who were having a meltdown. And then there was others that were just so calm, they were like Zen. And anyway, and so as we're falling, it's like going through a storm, and it's like a plane crashing, and the anxiety was like, I knew we were going to crash soon, we were going to land. And I remember thinking, I wonder if it's going to hurt. And, like when we die, I wonder if we're going to die, and I wonder if it's going to hurt. And so that was going on. And then we crashed, but there was no impact, we just like, next minute we're down, And so then there was this big sense of relief. We're all just like, it was this big sense of relief. And then the doors opened, and we were on Earth, and it was beautiful, but it was cliche. It was a new Earth, So we had moved into a new timeline, and it was like, and I remember all of us feeling like, oh my God, we've made it, like we made it. And we were all really jaded because of what we've been through. Like we were jaded, but we were relieved. And we also knew that it wasn't over. We still had a lot to do, but we'd made it. you know. So and so like Mercury was there, and he had so much love for me. And I remember like when I woke up, I just had this big grin, and I didn't let myself wake up. I sort of hung out in that energy, and it was like it was literally like an NDE, you know, like I'd gone to another realm, and I was just in love, and I felt so loved, and I felt so safe. And it was a real glimpse of being in another realm. And I'm really conscious of that right now, of like, that I choose to no longer be in this realm, because I really, really, really don't want, and it makes me want to cry, to be in this energy anymore. And so it was really beautiful just to like actually get to be there, take an elevator to wherever that was. But it was so profound. And the whole day I was in that energy, and I was just so like filled with gratitude, and it was so beautiful. Yeah, it was definitely not a dream. It was definitely something beyond a dream.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then like yesterday all day I was in this beautiful energy and all that. And then this morning, like last night and this morning, I was grumpy, and my earbuds didn't work, and I was like, fucking hell, and I'm like throwing my earbuds. And I woke up this morning going, for fuck's sake, why is this happening? And I was like really grumpy. It was like the contrast, So it was really interesting. So it is really about like, so discerning. And this year is so like, hold the line and just do the work and trust. And, more than ever, those of us who are the light leaders and who are the, whatever you want to call it, star seeds, whatever it is. I mean, we're using this terminology because we don't know anything else. We're just trying to find the terminology, but that doesn't always resonate. It's not, I do believe that we are all from different realms. And I believe particularly like everybody in this world is, and some people are more lost in this world than others, and some more have given into the density, but that doesn't take away from who they truly are. But I also know that the only way that we can change is to shift and be really discerning personally. Like the only thing you've got control over is your own personal frequency, and be very, very, very discerning of your own frequency. And that's like what this session was about. It's like just truly listen to your own guidance, and just follow the bliss, follow the joy, follow the light, even if there is a challenge. Like there's plenty areas in my life that are challenging right now, and see the joy and gratitude and understand that that's part of the ascension. And we need to process these things to come out the other end. And the only way we can do it is to be soul guided, really. And just don't pay too much attention out there, because it's going to get noisier and noisier and noisier to try and get your attention.
Yeah.
And I think that's also what's happening, is we're getting the opportunity to see our truth and to see who we really are. And like there's so much. I had a beautiful session the other day, and some of the information that came through this channeling, I was like, oh my God, finally, I'm not crazy. It is real. That is what's happening. That is who I am. That is the frequency that I come from. And everything, like she was going, does this make any sense? And I'm like, it's the first time anything's ever made sense.
Wow.
It's like, yeah. And the good thing about that is that I don't feel like I need to tell anybody or anything else, because nobody's going to get, like, even the session, not everybody's going to get this concept and this way of being. And it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Like, this is the biggest thing right now. Like, who cares? Just do your thing. Like nobody really knows what they're doing. The only person that knows what you're doing is you. And just 100% trust yourself, and like 100%, and find things and people that resonate. And even, and again, hold that lightly, because they might resonate for 5 minutes or for 5 years or for, and that's fine. And if the time together is finished, then that's fine. And if the book you read feels like the most life-changing book, fine. And then put it down. And if it needs to be read again, or if you read half the book and the rest doesn't resonate, everything, just really, really just allow it to be self-guided and soul-guided.
Yeah.
Yeah, just go insular a little bit. I think we really need to be a little bit insular and like a little bit recluse-like, Very good. All right. Well, awesome, guys. Thank you for showing up and doing this with me. And thank you, Kat. And
Thank
yeah.
you for this
Thank
one.
you so much. That was awesome.
I just